Hey, this is Zach. Today we're working on a Kawasaki Versys-X 300 to add a GIVI sidecase hardware rack system. This is GIVI part number 4121. Let's see how this goes. This is how this is packaged. As you can see, kind of wrapped up here. We can start to see what the sidecase racks are going to look like. One piece there. Okay, so when we get everything unwrapped, we see we've got the two sidecase parts, and then we've kind of got this attachment bar that we'll see where that goes when we're all done. Instructions, hardware, and these these look like they're built really well. They've got the kind of rubberish stop on the bottom for the bag, some little rubber dampeners there. They look pretty good. Let's see what they look like on the bike. First thing we're going to do to be able to put this together is we're going to pull off the hardware that holds on the rear passenger peg. You'll notice there's kind of a little cotter pin type setup that goes through here. We're going to pull that out and change that out with some of the hardware GIVI provided. And then at the same time that we take out the hardware for the rear passenger peg, I'm going to go ahead and undo these. We're going to replace those as well with some of the GIVI hardware. As far as tools, it's pretty straightforward. A 5mm hex key and then a 10mm open-ended wrench is what it's calling for. Let's see how we do with it. So we're going to see if we can work to pop this off. Just have a flathead screwdriver under there. Just pop that out. And then that pin should slide right out. Apparently the GIVI hardware is 5mm, but this is actually 6mm hex. So we're just gonna start taking these out. We're gonna insert the GIVI hardware there. We've got kind of a bolt here, goes through a machine bolt, and then we'll have a washer under that, and then we're gonna thread that up with this nut. While we're working on that, it's kind of a pain to hold it with one hand. So I'm just going to stick this in here just to kind of hold everything together just a bit. So before we actually put the rack on, I'm just going to make sure that that's tight and functioning properly. It's got a nice snap. It looks good. Like that. Okay, now for the top mounts. Now you can see I kind of just slid this in here to kind of hold it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. Get that out. So here's what I'm looking at here. You've got two bolts. The instructions call for the long one to go in the back, short one in the front. If you read the actual diagram, like the labeling. But if you look at the diagram, it's the opposite. So really I think the long needs to go in the front, short in the back, which is as it shows, but the labeling's mixed up. This one's labeled 3 and this one's labeled 4, and it should be the other way around. Hope that makes sense. And then we've got a spacer right here that needs to go in between the factory rack hardware and the GIVI, and then we've got the split washer on there. See, that threads up nice and easy with the seat removed. So I'm going to say that the parts list and the diagram is switched on those. The longer bolt needs to go in the front. I'm going to tighten down this back mounting point. And remember, this is the shorter of the two screws, which makes it a little easier to put together. Get that nice and snug. All right, sounds good. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Now I've got the left side installed and looking good here. Nice and solid. Again here, the one thing I would probably point out is you may want to put a little bit of grease inside of there. It looks like it's pretty well greased, so I didn't worry about it. But we're ready to go ahead and attach the rear brace. Here, let's do that. This goes across the back, goes underneath, and this is really straightforward. Just the shortest bolt with a lock washer on there. Just go ahead and thread it on both sides. I'm going to just tighten by hand, and then we'll tighten it up when we're done. Okay, so I've hand tightened both sides. I'm just going to go ahead and crank that down. And you'll notice the fit and finish on this is really nice. Actually went on pretty smooth. Fit the bike perfectly. It's got kind of a nice semi-matte powder coat on the bars. I really like it. We got them installed. I'd say probably a 15-20 minute job. Not bad at all. I really like the look of them on the bike. They match really well the factory hardware, and they seem to be well constructed. I like the this cross bracing on the back. I think that'll help in the event that you need a little bit of crash protection if you do tip over. I'm not sure what type of bags I'm going to put on these. I'm thinking maybe a soft side panner type, maybe like a Scout 25 MoskoMoto. Is really what I'm thinking right now, and hopefully these would work out for that. You might have to take off some of the GV attachment points, but other than that, I think they'd be good to go.